Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the fiscal year 2022 budget presentation. To members of the Common Council, I'm sorry that once again this year we are not able to do this in person. Hoping it's the last year that's the case, but glad that you all can join via this live stream feed. And to everyone else joining us, thank you very much. Before we get started, I do want to acknowledge our team that worked very hard to pull this challenging budget together. Our still new budget director, Tim Rudd. He may be wondering whether he would want to be on the other side of this presentation right now, but he did a great job with his entire team from the budget office in getting this together. And I want to thank all of the department heads and senior staff that also did the hard work that got us to where we are today. Before we get into the numbers, I want to acknowledge that the pandemic continues to impact Syracuse, the entire country, and really the entire world as we speak. As we look forward, we need to continue to finish the job of defeating the COVID-19 pandemic. I am concerned over the troubling rise in positive cases in the city. Just in the past week alone, we've seen a 30% increase in cases. So that's troubling. It's an important reminder that we are not done with this pandemic. We need to continue to do the things that have gotten us this far. Follow the state safety guidelines, wear your masks, social distance, wash hands, get tested, and get vaccinated. I can't emphasize that enough. I just received my second shot today. I'm feeling great. It's important that everybody does their homework, ask the hard questions, but ultimately we need everyone to get vaccinated. On the fiscal front, Syracuse has withstood the first wave of damage delivered by COVID-19. The fiscal year 2022 budget gives relief to city residents and supports our road to recovery. I always want to reorient myself and everyone else towards our vision. Our vision has guided our work since I presented the first budget to the council in 2018. We have been laser focused on this vision and the strategic plan to help us accomplish it. So our vision is for Syracuse to be a growing city that embraces diversity and creates opportunity for all. I mentioned our strategic plan to achieve that vision. It is through the 4 objectives you see in front of you. They are achieve fiscal sustainability, increase economic growth and neighborhood stability, deliver city services effectively, efficiently, and equitably, and provide high quality constituent engagement and response. These objectives also help guide our budget planning in the face of a constantly changing environment. Some realities to keep in mind as we take a look at the budget. Overall revenue growth was stalled by the pandemic. We all are painfully aware of that. We project sales tax in this budget to continue to recover and to be up slightly in this next fiscal year. The budget anticipates state aim or state aid restored at $71.8 million. We have seen continued growth in the city's assessed valuation, and that does yield some additional new revenue for both the city and schools. But I want to be crystal clear here. The American Rescue Plan rescues city finances and services this year. This is exactly what the ARP was intended to do for cities, and we're seeing it working up close and personal. I want to thank President Biden and our Senator, Majority Leader Schumer, for delivering on their promise to America. Some highlights from the budget. Overall, total budget, $264.9 million. I mentioned the American Rescue Plan. We use $20.7 million, which is about 1/5 of the federal COVID-19 relief, to make up for lost revenue to balance our budget. There was no property tax increase in this budget. City services are restored to pre-pandemic levels. And the budget supports COVID-19 recovery with funding for housing quality, public safety, schools, and parks, recreation, and youth programs. It also introduces a new online budget education tool that I'll talk more about. Budget investments. Again, I want to be clear. This budget does not represent the administration's plan for the $126 million American Rescue Plan funds coming to the city of Syracuse. I acknowledge the $20.7 million that's coming from the ARP funds to make up for lost revenue. The remainder of those funds, over $100 million, will be presented in the form of a preliminary plan to the council before you are to vote on this annual budget. So we want to make sure that you have the context of that plan to inform your decision, but I want to be clear that this annual budget does not represent and does not reflect how we intend to spend that full $126 million. Again, I want to be clear that our budget is very intentional in restoring city services to pre-pandemic levels, and to make investments that give city residents the relief they need and help us all to recover. We focus again on housing quality, public safety, schools, and parks. And I will talk a little bit more about the details in the coming slides here. The budget includes new staff in the Division of Code Enforcement and the Syracuse Fire Department to support the creation of a new high occupancy monitoring enforcement unit, or HOME unit. This is a multi-department city team charged with proactive monitoring and enforcement of housing conditions in large residential complexes. With representatives from codes, police, fire, law, and neighborhood and business development, the HOME unit will be charged with the following: enforcing provisions that protect tenant health, safety, and well-being, improving the quality of existing affordable housing, developing new safe housing initiatives, and helping both tenants and landlords in need of assistance. The picture you see is a number of departments heading into the skyline, which undoubtedly has influenced the creation of this unit. As I've said before, we have been focused on the issues at the skyline and many other high occupancy complexes for years. We've literally used every tool in the toolkit, but we've also acknowledged that we need to find new tools. We need to do more. And by formalizing what these multiple city departments have been doing informally through this HOME unit, we really think that we can align all of our efforts, the full force and weight of all of our departments, and also to identify, again, where those gaps are, where we need to develop new tools. And again, we think that this HOME unit is going to be an important new tool in addressing issues like the skyline more effectively. On a related note, the budget will strengthen the Bureau of Administrative Adjudication, or the BAA, the city office that, of course, the council is familiar with and established a number of years ago, that improves compliance with property codes by speeding up the charging of fines and penalties against property owners that have unresolved property code violations. So through the budget, we will increase the ticketing and hearings the office can process, and we'll do that by hiring a new paralegal and reinstating a part-time administrative law judge that was cut during the pandemic. So the BAA will also provide an online platform to streamline hearings and begin accepting payments online. The BAA is really starting to hit its stride, and we think this strategic investment is going to help accelerate that progress and accelerate us holding property owners accountable. As I mentioned, this budget also invests in parks, trails, and urban forests. I know personally over the past year, I have gained a renewed appreciation for our parks and open spaces as we all sought ways in which we could exercise and recreate in safe ways during the pandemic. And we see some significant opportunities through this budget to invest in those spaces. I'm going to give you a few examples. One, over this past winter, we had a very successful snowshoeing pop-up program where we went to different parks and rented out snowshoes, and it was a great way for people to explore our parks and public spaces. So we're looking for other ways to attract city residents and also folks from outside of the city to enjoy our public spaces. So we are going to be doing more pop-up family events and more activities, including some activities taking advantage of our waterways with things like kayaks for rental. We're expanding resources to support the Onondaga Creek Walk, which, as you all know, expanded into the city's south side, and also the newly opened Empire State Trail along Erie Boulevard, for which the city assumes maintenance responsibility in 2021. So we'll have a new dedicated park staff person who will oversee the cleanliness and maintenance of both of these popular trails and other trailways throughout the city. We're also restating a Parks Department supervisor position that focused on the appearance of the more than 100 parks maintained public spaces citywide. So this supervisor will work from the city's greenhouse and will be charged with ensuring the areas, which range from corner green spaces to grass strips in the center of roads, that they will enter each growing season with proper care and attention. We're also going to have some new playgrounds with this budget. Our capital budget includes the installation of a playground at Grace Messina Park on the city's west side. And we're also creating the city's first natural playground at the Onondaga Geddes Play Lot. I played there a couple times as a kid, and I don't think the equipment has changed since then. So it's long overdue, and I really appreciate the Parks team and the Forestry Bureau, their creativity along with our city carpenters to come up with this idea for a natural, our first natural playground. So very excited to see that happen. Pools, something we spent a lot of time talking about last year. The budget funds the reopening of 7 outdoor swimming pools this summer. Only Burnett Park Pool will be closed, but that's because of repairs that we have been planning for a number of years now. So all of the pools that we're able to open are going to be opening. We're doing it without creating a GoFundMe page and asking the community to help out. We are eternally grateful for everyone that stepped up to open up 4 of our pools last year. But thankfully, through this budget, we're going to be able to open them up through the budget process. Pools are so important for our young people and our families every summer, and I'm just thrilled that we're going to be able to give them back their pools this year. In public safety, the proposed budget includes funding to hire new academy classes in both the Syracuse Police Department and the Syracuse Fire Department. We want to make sure both departments are working to have proper staffing for public safety services in the face of increased retirements. We've seen increased retirements in both of those departments. So the fire class will be the 3rd since I've been mayor. And as I mentioned, we'll also have a police class, and we have one that is currently in the process of being put together that will launch in July. But through this budget, we will have an additional class, which again will make up for retirements that we've seen in recent years, and that will get us back where we need to be from a staffing perspective. Overall, the SPD budget is flat comparing year over year to last year, but it still provides funding for ongoing reform efforts. We continue to be very focused on our reform efforts, including in the areas of community engagement, and specifically, it will help fund our new police athletic league. But it also funds critical crime and safety programs, including special details for gun violence suppression, burglaries, street racing, dirt bikes and ATVs, fireworks, and other quality of life issues. Finally, we are also glad to report that we are reinstating funding for ShotSpotter, which was a victim, again, of our contingency budget in light of COVID revenue restrictions. So ShotSpotter will be back up and running very soon. The budget also creates a new division in DPW, which we're calling our Environmental Services Division. This is replacing what was historically known as Info Services, but the idea is to keep our city clean. The budget will fund additional staff for citywide litter pickups as we continue to beautify our city. We are also budgeting for new positions in DPW in anticipation of creating a municipal sidewalk program, something that we've been working very closely with all of you counselors on, and we look forward to introducing in the coming weeks. But this budget makes sure, as we put the final pieces together of the program, that we're in a position to effectively administer it once it's up and running. We are making long overdue investments in information technology and cybersecurity to the tune of a 50% increase in IT. Our Syracuse Surge initiative has been making great progress on technology for the community, but the reality is that for more than a decade, the city has not invested in our own information technology function. This is a long overdue investment in digital infrastructure and cybersecurity, and we believe strongly that it will pay dividends to taxpayers and services that are delivered across all departments. I mentioned earlier our new online budgeting tool, so I'm very pleased to announce a big step forward in public budgeting education. We are providing the opportunity for Syracuse constituents to engage with the plan using a tool called Balancing Act. It's an online platform that simulates municipal budgets. It's been used in communities across the country as well as by our own Syracuse City School District. And again, it's used for citizen engagement on government spending. It's populated with the actual numbers from our budget. So when you go on and click the link, you will see our budget in the form of a pie chart with breakdowns. You can see the bit.ly in front of you there that can access the tool, which is live now. So users can experiment with allocating funds among city departments and initiatives while considering ongoing operational needs. If you take from one department, you may give to another, and it's a useful tool again in providing education around the budget. It's also what I see as a very small but important step towards participatory budgeting, something that that many of us agree is on the horizon and important to further empower our residents to participate in the budgeting process. So I look forward to seeing more opportunities come from this. Again, the Balancing Act simulation is live, and you just saw the link to it. So just to recap, that about covers the highlights. We've been through an incredibly challenging year. And I'm really proud of the work that we've done here at City Hall. Certainly the collaborative work that we've done with the council, our amazing employees, our great labor leaders, and the community at large for all coming together and helping each other through the pandemic. It has involved discipline, significant discipline, both last year and in the years prior, to control expenses. But because of that work, we're able to present an outstanding budget this year. Looking big picture, if we had not experienced the COVID-19 pandemic, our projections show that revenue and expenses would have come very close to actually balancing this year. So while we certainly appreciate and benefit from the ARP investment, we want to be mindful of the fact that it is a one-time investment, and we need to continue to work towards fiscal sustainability and balancing the budget. And we believe that we remain on that track with this budget. So as two parting thoughts. One, again, we believe that this budget provides relief to city residents who need it and sets us on the road to recovery. And I also just want to reiterate that we are very much looking forward to working with the council on our preliminary plan for the expenditure of the over $100 million that we are receiving through the ARP. And we look forward to bringing those to the council in the form of a committee meeting or hearing before you all vote on the budget. So much more to come there. But thank you all for taking the time to learn a little bit more about the budget. Really looking forward to the hearings in the coming weeks to dig in even more. In the meantime, stay safe, wear your masks, and take care of each other. Thank you.